The Business Courier's popular 40 Under 40 program has a lot of mileage, nearly 25 years of honorees. Every once in a while, it's fun to take a look back and ask, where are they now? This week's Centerpiece caught up with several members of the class of 1998 to see if these honorees from 20 years ago fulfilled their great expectations. The class includes Rodney McMullen, now chairman and CEO of the Kroger Company, and Mina Jones-Jefferson, now associate dean and chief of staff of the University of Cincinnati College of Law. They and others from the class of 1998 offer advice to young leaders and perspective on dealing with change and challenges. Also among the ranks, 4 additional CEOs, 4 company presidents, 5 business owners, and 3 law partners. Not bad. Representing the class this morning is Debbie Bowman. In 1998, she was Director of Finance and Administration for the Cincinnati Art Museum. Today, she is president of Boys Hope, Girls Hope Cincinnati. Debbie Bowman joins Business Courier editor Rob Dahlmeyer in the studio. Rob and Debbie.
Thanks, Peg. Debbie, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
20 years ago, I had just started as editor of the Business Courier, so I remember well going through and how we figured out who was going to be in that class. You've made a big change in your career, as Peg mentioned. How did you decide to do that? What about you just made you do this huge jump?
Yeah, it was quite a jump.
Yeah.
So I was at the Art Museum for 34 years. I started there when I was 17 in maintenance, and by the time I was 23, I was the chief financial officer, and then later on the chief operating officer. So yeah, so 5.5 years ago, I made a decision to help a local organization named Boys Hope, Girls Hope, because I lived a very tragic childhood in which I was abused and neglected and lived in poverty. So I always had this burning desire to give back to the community in that particular way. And this opportunity actually presented itself because a trustee from the Art Museum, a board member, asked me to join a gala, and it happened to be Boys Hope, Girls Hope Gala. That's how I was introduced to it.
Lucky them, seriously. Is there anybody, when the new 40 Under 40 people every year are selected, we ask them very specific questions that we just love to find out, and I'm going to ask you the same ones. Who in your life has really been an influence on your career? Is there somebody you can kind of pick out that you would say, yeah, this person really helped me?
Well, there were so many great people. I got to work with the greatest leaders of our community, like the Kay Geiger, the Otto Buddick, the Larry Shakely. I mean, imagine me coming from absolutely nothing, living in poverty, and getting to sit in a boardroom with Vera Gaynor, for example, one of the smartest people I know.
Yeah.
So I had an opportunity to work with some of the top, matter of fact, a lot of them are the greater Cincinnatians now, the John Steeles of the world, and Jack Schiff Sr. So in 34 years, I got to work with some of the greatest leaders, and it was very helpful.
Yeah, those are some of the most influential people in the last century here.
Right.
And how about when you're talking about yourself and when you're thinking about maybe somebody who's coming up now? Right? Yeah. Maybe somebody that was in your position when you were maybe not quite 17, because that's kind of crazy how young you were.
Right.
What kind of advice would you give somebody?
Well, here's what Pete Strange says. Number 1, be on time. He always says if you're not early, you're late, right?
That's
so
true.
That's number 1. Show up, do the job, and work really hard, because if you work really, really hard, you'll get noticed, guarantee you.
That's great advice. Debbie, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it, and congratulations on your new gig. It's not new, but it's new for me.
Okay,
Thanks a lot. Back to you, Peg.
Thanks, Rob and Debbie. And nominations for 2018 40 Under 40 awards are due by 11:59 p.m. June 1st. To nominate an individual, you can go to CincinnatiBusinessCourier.com, click Events, and then Nominations.